Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here, and welcome to the Crypto Conversation. It's time for the weekly BraveNewCoin Crypto Conversation Market Sentiment Report. So, as always, I'm going to go through the wonderful world of crypto Twitter, really, and see what the interesting news narratives and data points are that are moving the markets this week. Of course, the best place to watch this is on the BraveNewCoin YouTube channel, so you can follow along with all the visual references that I'm going to use. But if you do just want to listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, of course, you can do that as well. All right, team, are you ready? Let's get on with the show. So if we start over here at bravenewcoin.com, the BLX, the Bitcoin Liquid Index, has Bitcoin just a touch over $48,000 US. Ethereum Liquid Index, the ELX, Ethereum is a little bit over 3,500. So let's just have a look at the Coin 360 heat map, and looking all right. All of a sudden, market is green today, was green yesterday, just starting to feel a little bit bullish across the board, really. And we could just be ramping up for a bullish Q4 once we clear through September. Obviously had a little bit of a rough start to the month, which is typical in terms of seasonality for September. Too soon to say what's going to happen, but yeah, Q4 could be fireworks. All right, what is happening this week? One of the big things that happened this week or yesterday was, of course, Solana. Now, Solana has been, I think, probably the best performing crypto asset, and certainly the second half of this year, perhaps even the whole of the year. I have to go back and have a look, but man, Solana has been on a run for the ages, performed incredibly well. One of the factors, of course, behind the rise of Solana is that the transaction throughput. It's just an order of magnitude faster than other smart contract platforms like Ethereum, and it can process an order of magnitude more transactions. However, they did get into difficulty yesterday. So essentially the mainnet went down due to a large increase in transaction load, which peaked at 400,000 transactions per second, that's a lot. That's more than pretty much any other blockchain can think of. It did go down though, which is, it's not a great look when a supposedly decentralized blockchain went down or goes down. So the price did suffer for a little while, and you had a few people making fun of Solana. Solana went down. ETH's layer 2 Arbitrum went down as well, apparently, according to Loli. Friendly reminder that Bitcoin never goes down. So however, of course, Willy Woo pointed out, back in the very early stages of Bitcoin's go live, 15th of August 2010, in fact, Bitcoin did go down very briefly. So I think that's the only time in Bitcoin's history that the chain has go down. There's a website that shows Bitcoin's uptime, and it's like 99.9 something percent, because this is the only time that it did go down. The point being, chains, they can go down in their very early days as the network bootstraps, and we've seen this happen with multitudes of chains. So I guess my point is, Ethereum, Solana, did go down, and it's not ideal, but I think they'll bounce back. Solana, it's still probably a platform to keep an eye on. Right, what else is happening? Of course, Gary Gensler he's upping the stakes in the SEC's appearing to be looming crackdown on the crypto ecosystem. So you may have seen this. This is just some remarks he published a couple of days ago. Where's the crypto bit? Here it is. So, just briefly, he says, we don't have enough investor protection in in crypto. He says it's like the Wild West. Of course, you know, we've heard that before. I mean, it's true, but yes. So he's looking at the SEC. They're looking at projects that cross over the offer and sale of crypto tokens, crypto trading and lending platforms, stable value coins, and you know, investment vehicles that provide exposure via derivatives and also custody, right? So he also says that he suggests that platforms come in and talk to the SEC projects as well. He says each token's legal status depends on its own circumstances. However, you know, the probability is quite remote that if platforms have 50, 100 or 1,000 tokens, there's almost no possibility that a platform would have zero securities. And the idea being that if a platform is listing securities, that falls under the remit of the SEC. So I guess the backdrop here is, yeah, there's a battle of words going between Gary Gensler and Coinbase. So again, you know, Gary said yesterday that Coinbase may actually be afoul of the law simply because they don't have a license to operate as a stock exchange. However, dozens of the tokens available on Coinbase might be securities. So there's a lot of tension here. And so much so that you may have seen this. Don't know if you did see this. Coinbase, they want to create a platform called Lend, right? So, you know, it's similar to a lot of the other lending platforms. You'd be able to essentially, you know, lock up your assets and earn a bit of yield or interest on those assets. So according to Coinbase, they've been telling the SEC of their intentions here. And well, the SEC have come back and said, no, if you do this, we're going to sue you, as the TLDR there. So you can read it. And of course, you know, Brian Armstrong, founder, CEO, Coinbase, it's obviously quite serious when Brian would publish a Twitter thread where he's quite scathing of the SEC. So he accuses the SEC of really sketchy behavior. And he just goes through the kind of the steps in terms of how Coinbase have been planning this Lend platform. And they have engaged with the SEC to try and, you know, get some guidance. And the SEC responded by simply saying, no, you can't do that. The Lend feature is a security. So Brian says, why? And the SEC says, the law is very clear. And essentially what Brian is saying is the law is not very clear. And I think, you know, part of the reason for that is, you know, these laws that they're basing, particularly with the security definitions, were written, you know, years and years, decades even ago. So it's like, yeah, at what point does the stuff get updated? Do we get clarity? I don't know. So Gary, just earlier today, he said, hello, Twitter. Here's a quick update on some of what's been happening at the SEC. Now, this is not about crypto. It's just a short thread, but it's interesting. One of the things he says is, I've asked staff to develop a mandatory climate risk disclosure rule proposal. Not sure what that means, but I think that's just something that's another, climate risk. Obviously, proof of work mining comes under that. And of course, you know, Senator Elizabeth Warren very much against proof of work mining. Also thought this was interesting. SE staff have been working on a report that will be published soon about the meme stocks events of January this year. Of course, you know, that's the Wall Street bets and the meme stocks, that kind of saga. So it'd be interesting to see what they have to say there. Speaking of memes, you know, I thought this is quite funny. You know, what is a security, Gary? Gary keeps saying the SEC is very clear on our guidance on what is or isn't a security, and you've got the likes of Coinbase saying it's actually not that very clear. So as a meme, Gary Gensler's House of Clarity. Yes, is it a meme or is it not? Is it a security? Is it a currency? Is it a utility token? Is it just a big house of mirrors? All right. I guess, as a result of this, we're starting to see a recognition in crypto that there has to be a little bit of pushback, or a lot of pushback to this looming regulatory fight. And we are starting to see that, organizations like Fight for the Future now take crypto donations. Also, another good example is the Lobby Lobsters NFT collection. I think they raised about 1,000 ETH that was being donated to Coin Center for pro DeFi lobbying. So I think we'll see a lot more of this in the very near future. So there you can donate some crypto to Fight for the Future. That's just one example. Also, Ray Dalio, he was on TV this morning talking about Bitcoin. I think one of the things he said, it was on CNBC. He said, yeah, I own some Bitcoin. I mean, no surprise, Ray has been flirting with Bitcoin for a while. I think he might have even said that before, but he confirmed that he does own some Bitcoin. But he also said that he felt if Bitcoin or crypto became too big, too successful, valuable, however you want to look at it, that the government will ban it. So interesting. I think, there's probably some nuance there in terms of what signal Dalio is actually trying to say there. But interesting that, it's not even really a big news event, but it's a good perspective here from Hunter. He says, I'm old enough to remember when Dalio is saying he doesn't own Bitcoin, but it could make sense. Was a big piece of institutional news. And that was really probably earlier this year. So now, Dalio says he owns Bitcoin. Market doesn't bat an eye because of course he does. At this point, why would you not own some Bitcoin? Also, over in NFT land, a bit of a sad one this week when this guy, Nate, who is head of product at OpenSea, essentially he was busted by the blockchain detectives. He was buying, basically what he was doing is he was buying NFTs that he knew were about to be listed or featured on the OpenSea front page. And then once they were featured on the front page, there'd be more interest in them and people would buy them, and Nate would sell them. So it's essentially insider NFT trading. And this has been acknowledged by Devin, who's the co-founder and CEO at OpenSea. He says, yep, whoops, we caught Nate doing this. Here's our statement. Yesterday, we learned one of our employees was purchasing items that they knew were to be displayed on our front page before they appeared there. Very disappointing. This behavior doesn't represent our values. You'd hope not. Taking this seriously, conducting a review. And of course, we've now implemented the following policies. OpenSea members may not buy or sell from collections or creators while we are featuring or promoting them. And OpenSea members are prohibited from using confidential information. I mean, you'd think they would have that in place already, but yeah, anyway. Not a great look for Nate or OpenSea. Also, still in sort of not so much NFTs, but Metaverse. Well, this is like a new show coming. It's one of those singing shows, but yeah, you turn, instead of singing as a person, you get remade as an avatar, a digital avatar. So yeah. I mean, I just think it's fun, right? And it shows how quickly this kind of digital transformation of everything is happening. And the metaverse, of course, is a big buzzword now, and it's just starting to go mainstream. I think the show's called Alter Ego, starts, I don't know, soon, next week maybe. So thought that was a bit of fun. And yeah, NFTs. So the Met Gala, of course, was yesterday or the day before, and I thought this was cool. This guy Alexis Ohanian, is that how you say his name? Yeah, he's a tech guy. married to Serena Williams. And Alexis, he bought a CryptoPunk for Serena a little while ago. And then, so he made a little, what do you call that? A lapel, like a badge that he wore on his tuxedo of the CryptoPunk that he bought for Serena. So I just thought that was, yeah, it's a cool flex of a CryptoPunk on a red carpet. All right, let's start to finish this off, guys. So Bitcoin, of course, there was a Bitcoin golden cross yesterday, just when the 50-day moving average crosses with the 200-day moving average. It's can often be a sign of bullish momentum to come. And Plan B, who is always never not bullish, really, stock to flow, of course. So he says, although I focus on averages and have no model for when or high the top is, I expect the top to be in the yellow area. And this is relatively later than the 2013 and 2017, the tops of those cycles. So I think, yeah, the red line is where we are now. So he's saying that the top will be somewhere in the yellow box, which is basically, yeah, anywhere from 200K to $1 million. Yeah, never not bullish. Love to see it. Also, Plan B pointed out, this is, I haven't dug into this too much, but yeah, there's something's going on in China. So the Evergrande group, which is, I think it's a massive, it owns a lot of property in China, something like 1% of all the property, or I don't know, don't quote me on that, but they own a lot of property and they're in trouble and they can't pay their loan interest. So yeah, watch what happens. I mean, China are obviously fairly well placed to respond, but they're going to have to get the money printers burring just to handle a looming crisis there. I think could be, it's a liquidity crisis for that developer. Okay, let's finish off. We're still bullish. So Josh, of course, lead analyst here at BraveNewCoin, put this pitchfork here on Twitter and alluded to, if we are bullish and we have a bullish Q4, could we see a 200K blow off top by the end of the year, which would just be sort of in the upper region of this pitchfork. And if you want to hear more of Josh's bullish analysis for Q4, he actually just published this literally, 12 minutes ago on the BraveNewCoin YouTube channel. So yeah, he talks about that and goes through all the different metrics. And see, here's the pitchfork, and so that's the potential blow off top Q4 zone. So yeah, look, you got to watch this video, hear what Josh has to say, and really nothing else to say except, in conclusion, buy some Bitcoin. Well, don't listen to me, listen to Ray Dalio. Anyway, I'm sure you probably have some Bitcoin. Probably good to have some Bitcoin going into Q4. Feels like a nice place to stop. Hey, that was us. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This was the Crypto Conversation Market Sentiment Report for this week. All right, keep it locked to the Crypto Conversation. Got a cool podcast coming up this weekend that I'm recording with Frank Miller, who of course is, famous comic book artist, and he's releasing a Sin City NFT collection. So I'm excited to speak to him. All right, better leave it there. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye for now.